Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Leave me alone!
Hi, I'm Reaper Azrath. VTuber hasn't debuted and can't stream. Nice to meet you. So, rabbit hole has been a topic of discussion recently for old Vocaloid fans and new Vocaloid fans alike, but for different reasons. I'm making this video to clarify and explain what's going on, because it's a whole thing. So, for starters, I would count myself an experienced Vocaloid fan. I got into Vocaloid in 2021 because of Ashniko, then I bought a figurine of Miku out of curiosity, then I decided to buy Project Diva, and then now I'm here. I spent hundreds of dollars on fucking voice backwards in my life. So, Rabbit Hole is a song by Deco27 that released May 19th of last year to, a little success. The way I and many interpret it, the song seems to be about someone who doesn't really care about love, only sex, or, if you will, sucking and fucking and all that. Then someone by the name of Channel Cast Station made an animation, that rhymed, fitting with the song where Miku was doing suggestive things. Apparently the original upload got taken down because of the ending part of the video, but many re-uploads are around. Now this animation is what started the discourse over on Vocaloid side of TikTok, and they had problems.
I don't believe they would ever poison me.
So, essentially, this animation found its way on the Vocaloid TikTok, and the Vocaloid fans and / new Vocaloid fans were not too fond of it, because Miku is 16. I say that in quotation marks. Put a pin in her age for a second, because we have to talk about this infamous screenshot that made its way onto Vocaloid Twitter, and the older Vocaloid fans were exhausted, to say the least. So, they made a bunch of posts joking about how the TikTok Vocaloid fans were saying, "Proof this isn't Miku," and they had things to say. So, but, let's slow down. And first start with why older Vocaloid fans are exhausted.
Stop, don't talk to me, losing they don't wanna be like, oh, so leave. Stop, don't talk to me, losing they don't wanna be like, oh, so leave.
Well, you see, Vocaloid TikTok has an infamous reputation because of, say it with me, misinformation. That was a burp. Right, the amount of misinformation on Vocaloid TikTok is really the root cause of all this discourse. Vocaloid TikTok has a trend of not understanding how Vocaloid works, for example, Miku's age. Now, Vocaloids have marketing ages, but no canonical age. Miku's marketing age is 16, but she could be 26, 39, or 67. The whole thing about Vocaloid is that there is no canon, but newer Vocaloid fans don't seem to understand that. For example, this cute short made by the Blum Bago, where Miku is talking about confessing to Luca on Valentine's Day. The amount of comments explaining the fact how Vocaloids don't have canonical ages, and the amount of comments being confused because some people think Miku's 16 and Luca's 20, or their sister, or their rivals, or their mother and daughter is just staggering. I think the confusion stems from the amount of, say it with me, misinformation on Vocaloid TikTok. A lot of things I see or hear being argued on Vocaloid TikTok are things that have been debated and settled years ago in the Vocaloid fandom. Like Rin and Len shippers versus the Rin and Len are related crowd. Like, this shit was settled years ago, and, are still, new fans are having this debate. This war was fought years ago. Krypton literally said, yeah, the relationship can be whatever you want them to be. Quoting this from the Vocaloid wiki, Krypton originally had the intention of distributing them as twins, but this was not adopted. Krypton stated that they approved of the many and different interpretations of Rin and Len's relationship that they saw in different works. Krypton's final announcement that the Kagaminas were neither siblings nor lovers. Even though the company that owns Rin and Len said this, I still see people fighting about it. This is one of the many times newer Vocaloid fans, or TikTok Vocaloid fans, whatever you want to call them, have demonstrated that they don't really understand anything about Vocaloid. I'm not trying to be a gatekeepy bitch, but the basic thing about Vocaloid is that nothing is canon, and any Vocaloid can be interpreted in any way. Now we have this whole thing about Rabbit Hole, people are arguing if it's Miku or not, and to answer that question, yes. And no. The character in the song is a Miku variant. There are many Miku variants, for example, Kaunika. Kaneko is a Miku variant that has appeared in the works of Dano, and she's lovely. Don't ever talk shit about Kaneko. In a lot of Vocaloid songs, the Vocaloid that's being used is usually representing a character, not themselves. That's why there are many variants of Vocaloids. Another thing I would like to add before moving on is she can't be Miku because she has a different shade of hair and a different design. Miku has many different modules in Project Diva, and they're all still Miku, and her design's changed over the years. Just pointing that out. The reaction I've been seeing from newer fans has been shocked by the sexual themes of Rabbit Hole, and I have to say that it seems like they only have experience in Project Sekai, because this really shocks you. I mean, at the top of my head, I can think of multiple sexual Vocaloid songs. Party Junkie, Gigantic OTN, Messiah or Desire, Out of Eden, Mary Sexmas, Ifudu, Holdlands Explosion Boy. Fuck it, I'll count it. Specimen Girl, Madness of Duke Venomania, On the Rocks, yes, Sweet Devil, Spice, and more. There's a lot of them. But my point is, not only have I seen shock from Rabbit Hole, but also this immaturity about it. Now let me clarify that I'm 16, so I'm probably closer to these people's ages, but I get such a feeling of immaturity, especially with this, or what with the newer fans have decided to take away about Rabbit Hole and just Vocaloid songs with sexual themes. What I've been hearing people say is that Vocaloid songs with sexual themes are shallow, which... Are you kidding me? Someone called Romeo and Cinderella shallow because it has sexual themes. It's like called Romeo and Cinderella because the character that Miku is representing doesn't want their love to turn out to be like a tragedy like Romeo and Juliet, where, spoiler alert, they both die in the end and can't be together. She wants to have a happy ending like Cinderella, thus Romeo and Cinderella. I gotta take a drink of water. Oh, fuck. The story gets more complicated when you realize that there's a direct sequel called Juliet and I, and the sequel has two interpretations, which makes it kind of complicated. The first interpretation being Interpretation 1. The schoolgirl is torn between the two sides of her, Cinderella and Juliet. Juliet wants to listen to her parents and be a good girl. Cinderella, being the more childish, selfish persona, wants to stay with Romeo from the first song, and despises Juliet since listening to her would only lead to tragedy. The second interpretation, Juliet and Cinderella are two different people, and they are caught in a love triangle with Romeo. The girls are both very close but have become divided since periods of Romeo. And Cinderella is conflicted between choosing friendship or love. However, in the end, Juliet goes away and Cinderella realizes too late that she was in love with her all along. Either way you interpret it, when you listen to both of the songs, you get two different feelings. Romeo and Cinderella has this very longing, intense vibe to it. I mean, Miku's fucking breaking her knees out here because she wants Romeo so badly. Meanwhile, Juliet and I isn't as intense, but there is a feeling of sadness and longing, but acceptance. Like, we had a good run, but it has to end, or the story has come to an end. So to call Romeo and Cinderella and the whole story around it shallow because there are sexual themes is just ignorant. As for Rabbit Hole, I wouldn't necessarily call it shallow. Is the character shallow? Yes, but is the song bad and shallow because of sexual themes? No. Honestly, I'm not trying to sound mean, but this whole situation just reeks of ignorance and immaturity. So, let's recap. Rabbit Hole comes out, someone made an animation based around it, it got popular, and people who aren't familiar with Vocaloid or don't understand Vocaloid got exposed to it, and are shocked by the sexual nature of all of it, and are fighting if it's Miku or an OC. And people are spreading blatant misinformation, and here we are. The whole situation just demonstrates a rift between the Vocaloid fandom right now. You have people who are new to Vocaloid, or their only exposure is Project Sekai, and who don't, or should I say, have a wrong idea about Vocaloid. So many people seem shocked by the sexual nature of Rabbit Hole when, as I and many people have said, that sexual Vocaloid songs are nothing new, they're a dime a dozen. It just shows that how, with the impression of Project Sekai and people spreading misinformation, people seem to think that Vocaloid songs are happy and maybe get a little bit edgy or risque, but nothing too much. The whole point about Vocaloid is the freedom of expression. The fact that there is no canon means anything can be canon. Vocaloids can be whatever you want them to be, or whatever you need them to be. People use voice banks to express themselves, to talk about their struggles and whatnot. Maybe Deco... that sounded so mean. Point being, people use voice banks to express themselves. Maybe Deco has experience with someone like this, this in the song, or maybe he thought people would think like this are interesting, or maybe he wanted to make a song about sucking and fucking. So, I'm Reaper Azarath, and this is my first video. I don't know if it sounds like shit. If you got this far, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I don't know, give me your mom's credit card information. Yeah. Bye.